Oh, Pookies. Just a sec. Trying to figure out something with the last recording. I can't remember what the puzzle was for Wheel of Fortune. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. Sir. Okay, there's that. And there's that. And are we having a good day today, please? No, of course not. Why would we have a good day? Well, I got it set up anyway. Um, so we were doing this a little bit before we went on Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and um, got it set up most of the way. I'm still trying to. Wait a minute. Got it set up most of the way, but didn't get to finish. I only had 7 minutes, so it wasn't gonna be spectacular or anything. But yeah. So now we're doing it for real. Um, okay. So I just got done with Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and please look for um Ceramic Pitcher Zero. I have no end of weird titles uh on Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy days, which is Saturday. Wait, one, two, three, four, five. Okay. I have no end of weird titles on that day because I just take the last puzzle of Wheel of Fortune and the last puzzle of Jeopardy and put it together. And one time we had chocolate PlayStation. I thought it was, funny. Um, anyway, I was working on my story and then I realized that I changed enough things that I had to go and start all over again. So I can't wait to do that, to continue that project. I've actually been busting down the chapters even more to, be smaller because, um, the opening the opening line, I mean, not the opening line, but the opening section, so the opening chapter, because that's what I made it, was Morgan talking to Hayden about, Morgan is perfectly okay with Sean dating her daughter, but Hayden is not, you know? So, they're having a discussion about that. Well, then you jump then you jump scenes to Sean and Jesse talking about, wait a minute, are you saying that Aunt Morgan said you could date Ashley? And and Sean goes, no, but she didn't say I couldn't. So, he's a little confused, but okay with the idea. Well, then you jump to Ashley and Chantel talking. So none of that goes together. I mean, they're all talking about the same thing, but it doesn't really go together. So I was like, okay, Morgan and Hayden ought to be one chapter, Sean and Jesse ought to be another chapter, and Ashley and Chantel ought to be another chapter because they're not all in the same room talking to each other. They're in different rooms. So my rule of thumb is that if you change scenes, you make a chapter. Unless it's like, like maybe half a page. But sometimes, even with half a page, I do that. I try not to, though. But anyway, so yeah, I'm busting it down even more. And I think it'll work better and it'll feel better. I finally decided to change narrators because Abigail kept having a problem where she'd say dot at the end of the sentence. And it was only Abigail. And I just realized that. And Abigail kind of sounded like a guy anyway, and I really wanted a female narrator, so we're trying out Jocelyn. Until I get this license thing figured out, I, uh, until I get this license thing figured out, it's only for me, but I think it'll be really awesome when I'm done, and the others have been, but the others I need to redo some things because I didn't know how to get rid of the dot before, besides, changing whoever's talking. But I didn't know how to get rid of the dot before, and then it was like, oh, okay, you just take out the punctuation and it's all good, even though they pride themselves on you put in punctuate, as much punctuation as you need, and we'll say it correctly. Well, the voices will say it correctly. Um, on speech hello. So anyway, so I was informed yesterday that Dorrance is actually one of those shysters who, you do all the work and they get all the money, but A, I don't know about that, but B, it does seem a little weird um, that I'd have to pay them. So I'm thinking about looking at some of the books that we have here at the house and there at the library and see who uh, see who I think can help me out. The problem is that like I've got the Outsiders um and okay, so I got what do I got? I got the Percy Jackson books. I've got the Harry Potter books. Um got Howl's Moving Castle, and you don't know if Green Willow's still in business or not. Just because it's such a um that uh the Howl's Moving Castle was written so long ago that I don't even know if Green Willow's in business anymore. Although when I was younger, I was like, I would love to publish with them. Um, I didn't know anything about them except for that they did that they published Howl's Moving Castle. Um, the only reason why I want to publish with somebody else is because I don't think I do very well on advertising. But I think, now that my husband's home, we can come up with something together, and I think it'll be awesome. But I keep telling him I would like to be able to go to South Lake Tahoe and find some pretty places around there. Um, um, yeah, like I would like to be able to go there. I'd like to be able to go to Bernie Falls. Um, I'd like to be able to, like wherever we go, even if it has like the Disneyland entrance sign in the background, just do a little advertisement real quick for my books. Um, wait. So, a project I have to do today, and I don't know how I'm going to do this, but a project I need to do today is I want to go and take every single one of my books, and I don't have a excellent picture of all of them, but I would like to have um I would like to take a picture of every single one of my book covers and put it on a canvas so then I can do what I want to do. And we can start out because I'm not making money right now, but we can start out going to our local park. I just realized something. Our friend invited us to a thing that he was doing, and we didn't go. Now I feel bad. Okay, so our friend Joe was playing in a band last night in uh at the bowling alley in Gardnerville. And it's beyond the Walmart. Um, and we totally forgot about it. I was busy with my book, and my husband was busy playing uh games with friends that we talk to on a daily basis. Anyway, I felt bad. I mean, I feel bad now. Um, so. Oh! And, okay, I know this is going to sound like bragging, but I'm just telling y'all. I actually won the $1 million on Wheel of Fortune, got to keep the money and everything, because I solved the puzzle, and I was like, wait a minute, it didn't actually count it as, money. It like didn't even count it as a reward. So it was kind of a letdown, but other than that, you know, I uh I actually won the $1 million on the last puzzle. Um and then, before that I won the $1 million on the thing, and I won half a car. I didn't I didn't win the other half, but I won half a car. So I thought that was really good. I got the best score of my life ever, because I finally got the million. So, but the thing is on Jeopardy. I mean on no, it's Wheel of Fortune. On Wheel of Fortune, I need to figure out how to get the puzzle figured out with less. I mean, with only 20% of the letters on there. And I don't think I'm ever going to figure that out. Well, okay, he says, sure I am. and it's called Memorize the Puzzles. But my my mind doesn't work that way anymore. I could have done it in my Nintendo youth, original Nintendo youth, but in fact we did. We did that so many times it wasn't even funny. We're like, oh, it's that one again, and just solve it right there. Um, let's see here. So yeah, I got like all the way up to chapter 16, but then the numbers weren't the numbers between what chapter it was on the audio and on the book itself were not matching. And then I realized that one of my chapters was missing. And I don't know why, but it was chapter 15. And that wouldn't really have messed with anything because I had chapter 14 and then chapter 16, and chapter 15 was missing for some reason. I don't know why I would have skipped. Anyway, so yesterday I just started over again. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Anyway, it's not as bad as it sounds, really. Because I'm breaking the chapters down even better, so there's not like, so there might end up being a lot more chapters, but they're going to be short, so it's not really going to matter that much. 1, 2, 3. As I said recently, I read a book called The War. Yeah. Let's see if I can talk now. The War with Grandpa, and the author. Well, it's supposed to be the little boy in the book, but um, the thought was that he liked short chapters instead of the long ones. And I kind of think that in this day and age, that's a thing. People probably like shorter things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay. Because like if you're faced with a 3-hour video, you're less likely to watch that than a 2-minute video. On the other hand, if you like the 3-hour videos, cool. But yeah, so I restarted it, and like I had restarted it, and then and I kept the what's going to be the first 3 chapters the same, which was chapter 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and they were chapter 1, but then I was like, well, no, this is a scene change. I I know it sounds weird, but my husband said at one point that maybe the chapters should be, when there's a scene change, make a new chapter. And I don't know why, but I love that idea. And so now I'm going back and redoing it. But it'll be perfect when it's done. And if I can get this license thing figured out, then maybe I can get it to where the audiobooks are making me money too. Um, you know, you know how like ebooks, sometimes they come in audio form. So like if you're if you're sitting there playing video games or if you're in the car, you can listen to them instead of read them. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. But right now they're just for me. But then I'm gonna ask them, okay, I don't understand. The one page said I have the license if I buy this, and I did. And then the other page says this other information. And I think I put in a ticket for it already, but I don't know. But yeah, that's something I really want to know. Can I go and like find an audiobook person, like listening library? That would be really cool to publish with listening library. Based on that Harry Potter wasn't trying to, you know, kiss any girls. Um, I don't know if that's really what I want to do, but hey, I just thought of that. What if listening library? Ooh, if I can get that dumb job. Oh, I will tell you that story in a minute. Um, if I can get that, I'm just calling it a dumb job because of what happened yesterday. Um, actually, I like working there. It's just that some of the people, don't care if you need to go to the bathroom. You need to be on that register. Previously. We don't know if that's the way it's going to be now. She says that it's better, but, you know, so far I haven't seen it. I'm not saying that I've seen people being, mentally abused. What I'm saying is that, we went in. Okay, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll just tell you the story now. We went in there because our phones say that we passed the assessment test. And the problem is that there's 3 levels of passing. And we were not told this. So there's the bottom tier, the middle tier, and the um and the top tier. Well, they'd rather the top tier people, I assume, but they'll settle for the middle tier people. But we were bottom tier people, so it wasn't okay. Well, apparently, you got to be extreme in your beliefs. You can't be moderate at all. And I will admit there was some days when I was just like, give me a flamethrower. Um, I wouldn't have actually done it, but there was some days, and I wouldn't have wanted anybody to get hurt either. If I was going to do something like that, which would be totally stupid because I'd probably end up in jail. But but if I was going to do something like that, I would make sure that there was nobody in the store or that, I blew a big hole in the wall before I did that. I know it's like it's one of those things that it's fun to talk about, but I wouldn't really do it. Um, like on the Harry Potter books where they were talking about fun ways to get rid of Draco Malfoy, but they wouldn't really do it. Um, in one of the books, they were talking about how it would have been so easy to push him off a glacier or something like that. Yeah, why do I remember it being a glacier? I think it was a glacier. I don't know. I haven't listened to that story in a while. I need to, but right now I only have them on CD, it and my CD player drives me crazy because it doesn't play the whole thing. So uh, um, either the Harry Potter CDs are done a little different than what my Insignia boombox can handle, or something's wrong. That's all I know. Something's wrong. Um, it plays music CDs just fine, but audiobooks, no. So I'm like looking into Playaway and seeing what books they have. Maybe I'll just collect a bunch of those. Although those are not infallible because um, Howl's Moving Castle, the Playaway at the library is messed up. And I really think that if you're working at the library, you should actually care when somebody comes up to you and says that one of your available products to borrow is messed up, but they didn't. They're like that's they just kind of looked at it like technology that they didn't understand. One, two, three, four, five, and they didn't care about. And I didn't appreciate that very much because that's one of my favoriteest books in the whole entire world. I love it. Even when, even when my one of my classmates in high school pointed out, you're reading a book about an old lady, right? And it's like, well, yeah, but she's gonna become this later. Because she's actually a young girl. She's like 17 or 18, and yeah, she's like 17 or 18. She's either fresh out of high school or maybe she was still in high school. I haven't read it in a really long time, but I really love that book. Um, and especially if the Playaway, has it the way it was on the audio tape, that'd be so cool. Um, but and she's going to visit her, or she ends up in the hat shop. Her dad and her stepmom own a hat shop, so she didn't want to be, boring old Sophie Hatter that works in the hat shop. She wanted to do something. She didn't know what, but she wanted to do something. And so her her sister Letty gets shipped off to Mrs. Fairfax's so she can. No, 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 no. Her sister Letty gets shipped off to Cesari's um, pastry shop. But I think they did bread too. Anyway, pastry shop, and so she can learn how to cook. And she's like, "Oh, it's so great that I love to cook." She was being totally sarcastic, but Fanny didn't see it that way. Fanny's the stepmom. Um, so Sophie and Letty are from you know Mr. Hatter's first marriage, and then there's a third daughter. Well, in that book, if you're the eldest of three, you're not gonna if you're the oldest one out of the three, you're probably not going to come to much. You're not going to be rich, and it's like you just have to deal with that. But the way that the author wrote it, Diane Wayne Jones, Diana Wayne Jones. Okay, I can't remember her name just at the moment, but anyway, the way she wrote it is the third sister is Martha. And Martha, all she wants to do is get old enough to, I mean, well, yeah, get old enough, but I guess, but she wants to have like 10 babies. I can't remember how many she really wanted to have, but I think it was 10 babies. And she said that she needed to start now because that's quite a lot of babies to have. And that's all she wanted to do. Well, she gets visited by Letty, and they trade places. And when I say trade places, I mean Martha learned enough to change her appearance so she looks like Letty, and Letty looks like Martha. So the only problem that happened was that all the stuff that she learned in the first 2 weeks, the all the stuff that Letty learned at the bakery the first 2 weeks, Martha didn't know. And all the magic that Martha learned in the first 2 weeks, Letty didn't know. But, they figured it out and got it all settled in and everything. But then they've been talking about how to get Sophie out, out of the situation she's in, and uh, and how Sophie isn't even getting paid. Well, Letty's getting paid, and Marth, or no, Marth. Anyway, the one at the bakery is getting paid, and the one at Mrs. Fairfax's house, that's where they're learning magic. Um, she's either getting paid or at least getting some useful stuff out of it, so she's happy too. But Sophie's not even getting paid, but she's making these really cool these really cute ha- hats. I'm sorry, house got stuck in my head. It's like in that episode of Lizzie McGuire where she's trying to write a review about the school play, and she kind of um lightly knocks her head and uh with her palm, with the palm of her hand, and then Scranton. But anyway, so one day Sophie just, she's wearing this ugly gray dress, um, that she's not too happy about, um, and she's like, I have to go talk to my sister. So, so it turns out that she goes to the town square, and that's where she met Howl. But she didn't know it was Howl at the time. And he calls her a cute little gray mouse or something like that. But anyway, she finally gets into the bakery and gets to talk to her sister. Well, that's where she finds out all this information. And so So she's sitting there making hats in the shop later, and the Witch of the Waste comes in, and the Witch of the Waste assumed that, see, never assumed that um, Letty was there in the shop making houses. I mean, see, houses stuck in my head. Letty's there making hats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's not what happened. It was Sophie. So she goes and does something to her. But what it ended up is that Sophie actually put the spell on herself, and so she goes out um she goes out to seek her fortune, and um and she ends up inviting herself into Howell's house, and she uses the 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5. Okay. She uses the excuse of she needs a nice house. I mean, that she needs a place to rest her old bones, with a warm fireplace and all that. And she's willing to work as, a cleaning person, around the place because, quite often Howl throws a fit and slime everywhere, you know. Anyway, so she's willing to, work as that. And anyway, it's a great book. I love it. But it's not my book. So later today, I think I'm going to work on that project. I want to get as far in my editing as I can also. But like if I get to setting up 5 chapters, I may, take a break. I want to take a break because I want to take a decent picture of every single one of my covers. And I want to take a picture of every one of my covers and actually put them on that canvas. Apparently, if one of the workers is there, my husband does not recommend me having them put it on the canvas for us. So why isn't that one of the things that you send out? Okay. So there's certain things, like if you want one of, I think if you want one of the mugs, they can't. Yeah, mugs and blankets are specialty items, so that they get sent out. But like if you want, a picture put on a canvas, normally they can do that. I'm saying normally because the printer likes to shut down and be stupid. I doubt it. It's been that way for probably 10 years at least. It's kind of funny though, because my husband would go over there, put a hand on the printer and said, "You are healed." And then all of a sudden it would start working correctly. And if it didn't, he'd threaten it with a hammer. Not hit it with a hammer, but threaten it with a hammer. And all of a sudden it was like, "Oh, Daddy's pissed." And oh, I didn't say that right. I'm sorry. For streaming friendly, I didn't say that right. I'm sorry. It would be like Daddy's mad and all of a sudden it would behave itself. I'm sorry, I try to use my streaming friendly words when I'm streaming, even when I'm on GTA, but, then weird things come out of my mouth like, oh, did I run you over? I'm so sorry. I don't know, I just become a different person with GTA. But yeah, the other day, oh, I finally fixed the issue of it's still saying July in August. Um, I think I fixed it on, yeah, I fixed it on both Twitch and because all of a sudden I had less views, and I was looking at my videos and I'm like, wait a minute, that still says July. This is August. But I've noticed I have less views on certain things, and it's probably because, people are done with that now. Um, or it could just be, it's summer and people aren't watching YouTube videos at the moment. They're at the lake, at the beach. Maybe they're at Disneyland themselves. This is usually not a good time of year to go to Disneyland, but the temperature has actually been pretty good. I did not believe it because the year that we went in August, it was over 100 degrees every single day. Um, the line wrapped around the Matterhorn twice, and I had to send, because my brother and sister kept walking away from us. I think we had more fun on Thursday and Friday, because we all hung out together. But since my brother and sister kept walking away, me and my mom would ride rides together, and like she's looking for both of them because if she loses them, then that's not good. Obviously, they could have gotten kidnapped. They did not think of that. Um, one was 11 and one was 12, by the way. So, I mean, I'm not saying they can't get kidnapped, but it probably would have been harder. Especially since my sister grew up in Sacramento. I'm thinking that's like the Bronx of, well, the New York City of California. So, ooh, maybe San Francisco is, but I would think that the parts of New York that you can get you know robbed and maybe beat up and stuff, you know that that part would be you know how I would how I would describe Sacramento is just not a good spot. And actually, I hope New York isn't as bad as Hollywood makes it out to be. There's got to be a reason why so many people live there. Um. Anyway, I was working on my story, and like I said, and I had to start over again. So I was looking at it. I was looking at it, and last night I was like, you know what? The Morgan and Hayden ought to be separate from the Sean and Jesse, and then the Ashley and Chantel ought to be. I mean, the Sean and Jesse ought to be separate from the Chantel and the Ashley and Chantel part. So that's 3 chapters right there, and like the first chapter is only like a page and a half, but it feels better. it didn't feel right before. So now it feels better because, like I said, he suggested maybe I should break it up into scenes, like, kind of like a movie or a play. And I was like, I like that idea. It's a good idea. And so, yeah. But I don't know what's going to happen after that because I don't remember what the next chapter holds, but I'm working on it. And yeah, somehow in there, I don't understand how this happened, but one of them had, uh, one of them has the poker game and the other one doesn't. And the poker game's very important, so the poker game is very important. So that's what ended up happening. I mean, that's what's going to end up happening. Because at one point something happens, and Sean says that Hayden would kill him if he said if he told him that he wanted to date Ashley if Hayden was sober. Because at the poker game, he told him while he was drunk. But then I couldn't find that last night, and I was a little frustrated, but I'm gonna get it pieced together. Like I said, me and my husband will probably, um, ooh, I would love to have a deer in the background. Anyway, me and my husband will probably come up with some uh, nice advertising for my books, and whether they end up being shorts or just um, whether they end up being shorts or a little bit longer than that. Um, I think they'll be good. See, the thing is that I wanted to come up with a like poster board, and there's there would be 3 books on the poster board, and the top of it would say please buy my books and where to find them. But I like putting them in block letters, and that didn't work out so great. Okay, so how did I do that? How did I do that? That was so weird. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's almost good. So this is what I do to do that, but this is and like the stone's supposed to be the foundation, because houses have foundations. Um, like the phone, like oops, houses have foundations, so that's what that's all about. And I don't know what size this house is. But anyway, houses have foundations, so I put the stone down first, and then I go and put the framework. Keep wanting to call it. I literally keep wanting to call it scaffolding, but it's not. It's framework. Um, anyway, we're gonna do this for another hour, and then hopefully I will. Oh, you know what? If anybody's talking to me, I've got the wrong page open. Okay, so I put something there. Really? Let's see. Hello. There we go. Nope. Unable to fetch account. Of course. We will ban them. I always give them the benefit of a doubt. You know, I always give them the benefit of a doubt because one time I actually had somebody that was a real person and they were trying to buy or sell viewers, and they said something like, "Oh, sorry," and they were a real person, and they haven't. Well, I don't know if they have, but I don't think they've tried to sell viewers here again. Now, I say we when I'm doing that because, I kind of think of me and my husband as a team. Um, but also, oh, okay. But also, you know, I, oh, okay. That's not cool. Um, Choose different colors. Doesn't matter. It's not staying that way. Probably. If it is staying that way, that'd be kind of funny, and I'd fix it. Um, but also, I kind of think of all of you as part of my we, and um, and I'm pretty happy that. Actually, I'm very happy because there's some people that go and watch this. Uh, there's at least a handful of people who go and watch this. And I think that's really awesome, because the other stuff, it's my content, but it's somebody else's work, I'm just playing the game. But this, it's me. So I'm really happy about that. And thank you. Um, I don't know. I just don't feel like being loud today. Like, normally I'm louder. I'm like, talking really loud. I do not build loud, because like most people that build on Minecraft, it's thud, 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 and I cannot stand that. I can't do it. I'm one of those people that's sensitive to repetitive noises like that. Um, See, that's the thing. I can't really tell you about um, Lessons in Love because I don't want to give it away. I want you to read it for yourself. So I don't know how much to tell and how much not to tell. And, like, I'm just wondering what do I tell? There's like all sorts of things I could tell you about, but hold on. There's all sorts of things I could tell you about, but it's like, what isn't going to give away the whole entire plot? So, and I can't tell you about Test and Love either because of that. I was remembering yesterday, and I was gonna say something about it, and I totally forgot, or I thought of it while I was editing my book. Um, yeah, I think I thought of it while I was editing the book. Oh, I didn't finish telling you about that. But anyway, okay, so there's a part in one of my books where they're talking about it, but they didn't actually have it. It didn't actually happen in a book yet. I have yet to write that book. Um, but in one of the books, Raphael's talking. I mean, Raphael and Pepper are at least discussing something. I don't know if they're discussing it or if they're having an argument. But um, what's said is that it's not like last year where it. I think it was not like last year where uh, something about last year and Raphael tried to climb Mount Everest without oxygen. I was trying to remember how I worded it, and I can't remember. But it was something about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay! It was something about him climbing Mount Everest without oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he says something like, "Nobody told me I couldn't." But yeah, I can't exactly remember the situation. I write this stuff down so I don't have to remember. And so it comes off as like I don't know my own product. But that's not it. It's just I write so many books with so many different things happening in them that I can't remember everything. Um, we will get to that point where I'll be able to tell you exactly what happened in that part of the book. You're just going to have to be patient and, well, hopefully by then it'll be all connected up and ready to go. Um, See, the thing is that I've got some characters. I've got some characters in my books where they don't really have a story. We just know that they became part of the book. I mean, part of the crew. And, like Mitch, he's got a little bit of a story, but not really enough to make a whole book out of. It just wouldn't make sense to make a whole entire book out of it. So, what I'm thinking of doing is like making a book where some of the other characters get introduced, but they don't really have much. Since they don't really have much of a story, um, having the little thing that I know happened to them, um, like one of the books, I think hard times. Um, Josh and Peter are telling Morgan that that they were playing hide and seek when they were kids. They were playing hide and seek, and one time Peter stayed in the tree for over an hour, and the only reason why he got uh he didn't get caught, but the only reason why he got seen at all was because he almost fell out of the tree after he woke up, kind of thing. And so, oh, they're saying that, there's um oh, I think Morgan was asking who's the most stealthy, and Josh volunteers because Peter is shy around people that he doesn't know very well. So, he's just kind of shy. He was raised by his mom. Well, Josh was raised by his dad. So, oh yeah, and that's another part of their story is that they both had a parent pass away, go on their extended vacation. Um, because like Peter's dad died in a climbing accident or something like that, and Josh's mother died of something. I don't know, maybe a car accident. I can't remember what I put. But anyway, so the um the two parents met at a the two remaining parents met at a wedding and thought it was so great that they got married a year later. Well, anyway, so they were pretty much brothers ever since they met. Like they met when they were like 3 years old or something like that. They've been pretty much brothers ever since. So it just like you know it just kind of made sense. But really, those two situations are the only thing that we really care about them. So it's not going to take very long to tell their story either. And then, like Kelly, I don't remember exactly what I came up with for Kelly's story, but I know that she used to work at Shatana's and Alan rescued her. You know, Alan used to go in there to talk to her and probably give her kisses. Um, but we know he went in there to talk to her. And Kelly realized that he's the one for her because he wasn't pushy and wanting more. And, he was willing to just sit there and talk. And he's actually 10 years older than her, but they're a great couple. And Paige, she doesn't have a very good she doesn't have a very big story either. I mean, she's gonna be later, but Paige, she's just got the story of she is Alan's daughter from his previous marriage. And so if I haven't written it already, I'm probably going to write in what exactly happened to make that be a divorce situation. And and I think I did write that. I just need to figure out where the heck I put it. Because I'm not always smart enough to, put it in a folder where it belongs. um, yeah, I'm just not always smart enough to put it in a folder where it belongs. So, and the problem is that every time I put anything on external, it um, breaks down, or I just can't find the file anymore somehow. Because like I have a vague idea of what I named the file, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's not what it was called. Yeah, I'm not perfect. I'll be the first person to tell you that I'm not perfect. But I was proud of myself yesterday. Um, not pride comes before a fall kind of thing, but the guy. Okay, so we went into Walmart and showed them that, look, it says that we passed. Well, apparently there's 3 tiers for passing, and we're the bottom tier, and you can't take the bottom tier people. Oh no, that's not okay. Well, apparently if you're applying at Walmart, you've got to be absolute on your answers. You can't say mostly like me, or I mean, you can't say somewhat like me, or somewhat less like me, or whatever the other one is. That that might be it, but it just doesn't sound right at the moment. Anyway, you can't do that. You have to be absolute. And it's like, okay, there are no absolutes in life. Thank you. And in some situations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's like neither one of these choices is okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because when the situations is your coworker is falling behind, they're not doing their job as fast as they're supposed to be doing it, they're not doing it right, all that stuff, what would you do? Well, first, I would offer my expertise on how to do it, because, what if that person just doesn't understand what they're supposed to be doing? You don't know. They could be having a bad day. They could be, uh, they could have a learning disability to where they don't quite understand when Walmart manager says, check the dates on the candy. You know, you don't know what the situation is. So, I would give them the benefit of the doubt first and go, okay, ha- uh, can I help you figure this out better? And then, if that didn't work, I would suggest maybe they, uh, talk to the manager about doing some training. But I've had a lot of situations where, the person is doing something and they're doing it wrong, and they're going to continue doing it wrong because, obviously I don't know anything, even though I'd been there for over 2 years. And I was just like, okay, fine, keep doing it your way. But yeah. Anyway. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, we're getting these houses done, which is good. But I'm gonna have to stop in about 45 minutes because I need breakfast, and I'm still editing that book. I was gonna finish chapter 2 last night, but I just started falling asleep, and I just, like after the experience at Walmart, that was so dumb. Oh, but okay, but I said I was proud of myself. Well, I'm like, okay, I'm walking out. I'm walking. I didn't even say walking out. I just said, okay, I'm walking. Because I didn't want to start yelling. That's not okay. You know, if you want the job, you don't start yelling at people. Um, Even if their system is totally, it's not their system. It's the Walmart system. Even if the Walmart system is totally wrong and stupid and needs to be overhauled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no. Yeah, this one's off by 1. So, in theory, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Hold on. I gotta tell somebody something. Okay. Uh, Open a new tab. Yeah. Okay. How do I get? That's how. Okay. So, what are we listening to over here? Oh, okay. Uh, I was hearing something that sounded like the. I was hearing something that sounded like the Bible, but it didn't sound like they were talking Bible things, and they weren't. It's still in Esperanza's party, playing to where I can just barely hear that they're talking, because I don't want that on my stream. Um, Normally I wouldn't mind having that on my stream, actually. But I'm like, well, it's Minecraft, there's little kids. Some Most of the stuff is just fine, but some of the stuff that gets talked about in my book isn't okay for little kids. So I want to make sure that. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, okay. So that's not there. Oh. Okay, I messed up, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I messed up. Okay. That is that. There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry, is like my favorite word now. Well, in Esperanza's party, there's a scene where Sean has gotten kidnapped, and they have to go rescue him. And after they do, Sean and Ashley and Jesse and Chantel are all in a red Trans Am, trying to take it back to the place that Ashley rented it from. And all of a sudden, they notice that the bus that has the rest of the family is going a little too fast. And that's because the brakes were out. And so they crash into the repair shop and come out the other side. Anyway, I think for I think for I'll make sense in a minute. Um okay, I lost it. Never mind. I lost it again. Cause I keep trying to think of a great way to tell you all about well, okay, I got a great way to tell you about Misfortune. You know, because they've just had a party at Shatana's, the place that Morgan works, and um, and uh, Hayden is they had alcohol at the party. They served alcohol, so Hayden is drunk, but he was able to talk to Morgan intelligently and all that stuff. Um, he was able to totally charm her, and they had a nice evening together. Well, then at midnight, he's either got to spend the night or go home. And he chooses to go home because, all of his clothes are at home. He didn't think to pack an overnight bag. He probably didn't even think it was a choice. I don't know if I wrote that badly or if I just, wasn't thinking the way I am now. But anyway, he didn't pack an overnight bag, so he's got to be able to, take a shower in the morning and put on clean clothes because he's got to work. And so he starts to go home alone. Well, I think Morgan maybe should have called him a taxi, but that's not the point here. He wouldn't have been able to. He wouldn't have ended up where he ended up if he had taken a taxi. So he goes off to the right, like he's supposed to, because his apartment's that direction. And they've got a nice apartment with 3 bedrooms, and it's got 2 beds each. And it's Mitch and Zach and not Zach, Mitch and Jason in one room, and no, jo- wait, yeah, Mitch and Jason in one room, Josh and Peter in another room, and the one closest to the front door has Hayden and Jake. and Jake's side of the room is um it's got cowboy stuff on the wall, but it's also got ship stuff too, because that's where he began life, is on his Aunt Katie's pirate ship. Um, Again, not a blood related aunt. She's just she's yeah, Katie was there before he was born, so he's known her that long. He just calls her Aunt Katie. Anyway, but it's also got cowboy stuff because they have a farm, a ranch, whatever it is. I don't know. I just know. Okay, so really, the only thing that even indicates that they're cowboy, cowgirl people is that they have a barn. That they've got the house, and then you walk several steps, and there's the barn. Um, okay, so I want to check my bank account and see if I got anything. I doubt it, but um, because I got it to where I can have subscribers on Twitch, and I can have sub points, and and people can buy subscriptions for other people. Uh, Gift subs, that's what they call it. Gift subscriptions. Um, yeah, I've got all that for Twitch, and I can make money with Twitch Turbo, and I don't know how a lot of that works, but we'll we will figure it out. And so some people have been telling me that it would probably only give me enough to buy a candy bar, but um, hopefully, hopefully it'll be better than that, because I'd like to use this money as the donation money. Um, Donating food to the food bank, at Christmas time, donating to Toys for Tots. Um, if I can find a reputable company, you know, donate to um, cancer research, stuff like that. Um, Although if this starts making serious money, then I want to help pay the mortgage. That's something that I really want to be able to do, is pay off the house, and then, like, whether the electricity's on or the heating bill paid, we'd still have a place to stay. Um, I mean, literally all those smaller bills are a lot easier to pay when you don't have to rent or mortgage, but they're not that much at all. We could probably have my husband work at Tractor Supply and it would be just fine. He doesn't work there anymore, but I'm just saying we could probably do that. On the other hand, we were making good enough money that we probably could have been making extra payments to the mortgage when we were working at Walmart. So I'm still hoping for that. If there's anybody uh, who prays, please pray about that for me, because yeah, we need income in the house, and I'd like to be able to, um, I'd like to be able to talk a publishing company. If Dorrance is bad, um, like our friend Joe said, then maybe not go with them, but go with somebody who I know has been publishing books for a really long time. I think Harry Potter's Scholastic. I don't know. I'll have to look at it in a minute here. Um, as soon as I'm done with this house, I'll get up and look at some of the um, publishing companies that we have on those books over there. Cause I would like to go with one of the ones that I know, and they obviously do good work, and whoever's doing Harry Potter is like top tier because they made a pretty starry pattern on the side on the side of the pages, and it just looks awesome. I actually thought they were the audiobooks for a while there, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, that's the book. Okay. And I almost got Goblet of Fire, but it was $2 more. It was $2 more, and I was like, no, maybe not. Um, so I don't want to drag my husband out of the house today, but um, eventually I would like to be able to go to the store, and maybe I will, um, ooh, we don't have a tea kettle for the, oh, we got that. Okay. Um, we got a, like, water percolator thing. It heats up water. And whether I have to go and plug it in behind the table in the kitchen dining room area or what, I want to be able to do that. Um, what I want to do is make a kind of like a video memory, because when we were kids, we had these short little dishes. Um, we had short little dishes, and we put Jello in them. They had to stem like a not a wine goblet. Um, I mean, not like a wine glass, but they had a little base and a stem, and then they had the part where we'd put the Jello in, and each box made up 4 things of Jello. So either Dad got 2, or I got 2, or Mom got 2. Whoever, but everybody else got 1. Because there was 3 people in the house. There was no reason to make up 4, but um, somebody always got the last one. And I finally found something that works for that. It's not the exact same design, and if my dad has those and is willing to give them up, I would gladly take them off his hands. Um, I think I don't know. I'm imagining me having a conversation with my mom where she said that they gave them away, like to Goodwill or something like that. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask her. I'm gonna have to ask them about that. I probably have to ask Dad because he'll know what I'm talking about. Hopefully. um, but anyway, so we were at Walmart yesterday, and we got milk and no, that was the day before. No, was it yesterday or the day before? Huh. Was that yesterday or the day before when we were getting milk and we ended up getting the Jello things and all that? The day before, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so the day before yesterday, um, we picked up the milk and cheese. Well, the dairy-free, plant-based cheese. Um, I like it. One, two, three, four, five, six. Oh man. Anyway, I like it, and my stomach because my stomach likes it, and I quite often give them a shout out. But yeah. So we grabbed that, and then he had to go to the bathroom, which I usually don't talk about on stream, just in case somebody gets squeamish about that. Um, but he had to go to the bathroom, and so I started walking around, and I'm like looking at the arts and crafts kind of stuff. One, two, three, four, five. So I'm looking at the arts and crafts stuff, and somewhere in there, I was walking around in some area, and I saw the Jello um, cups, and I was like, "Ooh, that's what I want." So I grabbed those. They were only $1, so it was perfect. I think they're on sale, on clearance. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9. Um, so, so then I was like, I want to look at the books. Or maybe I looked at the books first and then found those, like, I don't know, something like that. Um, anyway, he took a long time in there. And so I looked at that. I looked at the Jello cups, grabbed 4 of them. Um, and, at some point in time, I looked at the books and I'm like, I wanted to get Goblet of Fire. I don't know why. I just felt like I wanted to get Goblet of Fire. But then I was like, it's 17 something. No, it was 15 something. And the Chamber of Secrets was only 13 something. So I was like, okay, gotta get that instead for now. But if I get the job, then I'm getting the others. We lost all our books in storage that time, so. Wait a minute. There's something wrong here. No, there's not. I just took the wall out. Okay, fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, okay. So normally, I only leave 2 spaces, so the garage could be a lot smaller if I needed it to, but it doesn't look right that way. And the garage door can't be there. So, okay, let's try this again. Finally! Okay. So, that is a live video now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy from earlier today. It's a live video. And it's even got a commercial for my books. Um, so I figured that, like between Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy is a commercial break. And they usually played them together where I used to live. Um, they'd have one and then the other. My sister swears that it used to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My sister swears that it used to be Jeopardy and then Wheel of Fortune. I remember it being Wheel of Fortune and then Jeopardy. I don't know, but that's how I play it is Wheel of Fortune and then Jeopardy. And, because that's how I remember it at Grandma and Grandpa's house. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Remember, that's from the TV show Alf. What? No, it's from Small Wonder. Sorry. Yeah, it's from Small Wonder. I was thinking of Alf when I said it, though. Don't know why. But yeah, that's from Small Wonder. Um, it's a 1980s TV show. If you haven't seen it, you ought to check it out. Um, okay, so getting so close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, this is this is so frustrating because um this is so frustrating because like I said, Squibs helped me, but he kept getting the number wrong, and it was uh like I couldn't tell him, hold on a minute. He just wouldn't listen. So I'm kind of worried that we're finally gonna get all of our ducks in a row, and I'm gonna get that job before the 18th of August. That would be bad. It'd be really bad because then I'm gonna have to tell them I need the 18th off, and they're gonna be like, "You just got the job. You can't do that." I don't know if they're gonna do that, but it. Ooh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, this needs to be grass. Okay, so right here. Um, who else is in there? Oh yeah, Britannia. She doesn't have that much of a story either. She has she basically has she was going out with some guy and he started being a jerk and oh yeah, I think he was going out with another girl or something like that. I can't remember. Why am I oh, well, yeah, okay, I'm taking this out because it's in the wrong spot. Anyway, there's a bunch of characters, they don't really have a story. Oh, oh, what's her name? what's her name? Stephanie. Like Stephanie and Chris. I don't even know if Chris has a story, but I'll come up with something if I didn't. But Stephanie, she has the story of she lived in Maine with her parents, and something happened where she had to leave. She was trying to get to work with her uh, dad. Like the lobster fish or something like that. Um, I don't know what you call going lobstering instead of fishing, but but it was that, and her car broke down. One, two, three, four, five. Oh yeah. So anyway, her car broke down. Well, the first person that came up was an enemy pirate, and he goes and kidnaps her, and her parents have, you know, had not seen her since, kind of thing. Um, there really should be part of a story where Chris goes and brings them back, and probably the dad would have a shotgun and tell Chris he has some explaining to do. See, the only problem with those two names though is that that's what my sister and brother's names are. Is my brother's name is Chris and my sister's name is Stephanie. Steph's tall, the older one, but mom said them so many times that I was just like, Chris and Stephanie, yeah. Mama, I mean, said it so many times that I was just like, that's what it's supposed to be. One, two, three, four, five. Um, I don't know where I got Hayden from. I cannot think of where I got Hayden from. Um, I want to say it was a movie, but uh, it could have been the baby book. I had a baby book with all kinds of names in it, and a lot of them were old, like Eloise and Sophie and Bertha, But then there were some neat ones in there, like Hayden um and Esperanza or something like that. I don't know if Esperanza was in there, but there was some uh neat names in there. There was also some like really, you know, that's not a name kind of names. But yeah. It's better than that poor kid whose name uh I don't know if they stopped him or not, but there's some kid out there I think named Superman. And I can just imagine that child going into kindergarten and going, "My name's Superman," and then I mean the teacher's like, "No, your name's not Superman. What is your real name?" And then get sent to the principal's office, and then the dad and then the parents get a a call, and they have to go in and go, "Yeah, I named him Superman." Oh, I just thought of a really bad joke. Never mind. Not going there. Um, I'll just suffice to say that it's the one where the um person's name is Texas. I don't even know where I learned that. But, yeah. Anyway, so, oh, we got 9 minutes. Doubt we make it, but we got 9 minutes. Okay, we got 9 minutes if we're stopping at 11, like we're supposed to. But I do put in there that it could go until 9. I mean, it could go until noon. I've actually got set up, as if it's going to stop at noon, not 11. But I don't actually usually go with that. I usually go with 11 because, by 11, my stomach's going, feed me. But those are on days when I haven't had breakfast. Anyway, tomorrow will be Disneyland Adventures. Don't know what we're gonna do exactly, but I think it said 71 people have watched my Disneyland Landmarks one from last week. Yeah, okay, right there. How many people have seen it? Oh, I was way off. 42. So, the idea is to go and make one video for each part. It doesn't work on Splash Mountain though because it didn't work on Splash Mountain because I cannot do the right side to save my life. Seriously, if somebody was holding a gun to my head and said, get the right side done or else," I would be getting shot. Yeah. I cannot do it. I did it on the 360 and the Xbox One. Or I assume I did on the Xbox One. I know I did on the 360, whichever one had the Kinect. I did it on that one. And so the one that says I've got 99% progress, that's why. And I'm starting to think that the thing that I missed on New Orleans Square is actually that parade on Main Street, which should count as a Main Street thing, not a... I think it ought to count as a Main Street thing because that's where it is, instead of a New Orleans Square thing. But there's other lands where, you're getting a certain percent progress, and it's counting that on that Main Street thing as, that land's thing too. So, I don't know. I know that certain things I didn't get all 3 flourishes, but yeah, I'm still working on it. Still trying to get that. And the file that I've been playing lately, just because I'm getting so frustrated with Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain is the bane of my existence. I can't do it. I think what I did was I got my husband to do it one time and he did it just fine. But I don't know. Maybe I did it. You know, I have no idea. I think I did it, but maybe I did have my husband do it. I don't know. Usually, if I can't do something on a video game, I go and try to see if he can do it. And then sometimes, if it's like Disneyland Adventures, he goes and I like he'll go and do it, a few times and can't get it, and then all of a sudden I will get it perfectly right after. But yeah, I almost had it the other week, and then all of a sudden it went south for the winter. I ran into something, um, and it stopped counting it. Yeah. So I'm gonna edit my book today. I'm gonna turn on the air conditioner. I'm gonna have breakfast. Not in that order. And oh, apparently I have to go upstairs too. So fun, and it just sounds like such a fun schedule, doesn't it? Editing a book, eating breakfast, turning on the air conditioner, and going upstairs. So I had a problem, and I had a small problem yesterday. Speaking of that, um, I needed to go upstairs, and I just kept editing and or whatever. Um, I didn't even think about it. I didn't wait very long. I just I like did the next piece of editing, and then I was like, oh wait a minute, I have to go upstairs. So anyway, oh yeah, and that was the day that we got me the new charger with it comes with the battery. So so if the one battery continues to be stupid, hopefully they can like recharge it at Batteries Plus, but that's gonna cost money. But anyway, hopefully they can do something about that. Um, they're supposed to be able to, if you can turn it on, or if it can be turned on, they're supposed to be able to do something with your tablet to make it charge again. Your tablet, your cell phone, whatever. And the ones with the rechargeable batteries. It's kind of funny because there used to be actual batteries that were rechargeable. There used to be actual batteries that were rechargeable, and they were. Well, I think they still have some, but some of them were purple, and I think Rayovac can be. I don't know. I don't know if they have that anymore. We don't buy batteries much, and when we do, we usually buy the ones at Costco. Okay, so if you hear my husband saying she's this and she's that, they're talking about tractors and other vehicles on um, Farm Sim, because he just got loud and he doesn't even notice. Then he goes and argues with me that he didn't get loud, and it's like, I've got proof. Anyway, but I'm usually the person who's getting loud. Oh, it's 11. Okay, so it's 11, but we're not done with this yet, so. Why is it still dark outside? Okay, so I can understand if it's, my fireworks display. I need to work on that. I could understand if it was my fireworks display because that, um, that I like to be able to, shoot off the fireworks and, um, I'd like to shoot off the fireworks, and that has to be done at night, because it looks better that way. One of these days, though, um, one of these days, I think I'm gonna go and work on that a little bit more, because right now it's not finished yet, and it just gets a little frustrating, setting it up, and then all of a sudden, oh wait a minute, where'd that go? And yeah, why did that not shoot off? And then it's like, oh, because it wasn't set up to do so. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna turn on the lights next time I work on it, and let it get to daylight, and do it that way, because otherwise I have to go and put in a big old line of sea lanterns, and um yeah, my husband just totally distracted me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's they've got bad drivers on games. Okay, so that one. How close are we to the end here? I bet you we're not. Aw, man. Yeah, we're not. Hey, we got that all set up and ready to go. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, so we got that one set up and ready to go, but the other ones aren't yet. It'll do. Okay. Ah. Okay, we're gonna go over a little bit more. Because this is a project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. I'm reminding myself of Wizard of Oz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When she's saying there's no place like home. There's no place like home. But for some reason, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just is feeling like there's no place like home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh yeah, he just said a interesting word, so that reminded me that somebody um okay, so the bad guy on The Emperor's New Groove is Yzma, or was it Esme? No, I think it's Yzma. Yeah, Yzma. Anyway, the person said something that didn't even sound like that, and I made sure to, try to help them out, not to pick on them or anything like that. To help them out, trying to tell them how to say it, because, uh, because I don't want them to get picked on by bullies. For one, and for two, it just drives me nuts when I know how to say something and somebody says it wrong. It just drives me crazy. Like when people don't use, uh, people don't check what they typed, or they don't check to see if maybe their AI program on their phone auto-corrected something. That's happened to my sister so many times. She's like texting me and it autocorrects so it doesn't make any sense. Um, oh, yesterday, I think it was, um, I don't know. Okay, so I don't know how to put Band-Aid as a generic word. Because that's what we call them. It's not it's it's not that we're calling it the brand name. It's just that that's what we call it in our house is a Band-Aid. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But anyway, the the AI 1, 2, 3, 4 said instead of saying Band-Aid, it said Band Aid. I'm like, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyways, um, well, I'm saying AI, but it's one of the speech low voices. Um, I think that still counts as AI, but anyway, it was saying it so funny. So some of the stuff, okay, some of the stuff that the program comes up with is just like really hilarious. Like okay, I've really got to go upstairs. I want to finish this, but okay, I will finish this off camera. Okay, so please go on Amazon and check out my books. I would love it if people would buy at least one of my books. Um, so they are Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times, Esperanza's Party, The Island, and those are all my pirate books that are published right now. And then there's a book called Adopted Coral. No, I still have not made that video where I'm reading the book. I am so sorry. I will. I just don't have time right now. Um, I still think it's gonna make me cry, but yeah. So anyway, you can go on Amazon and type in Tina Rash books. And I spell it because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's several different ways to spell several different things. So I know most of you are going to know exactly how to spell it, and you're going to be probably angry that I spell it every single time. But we've had a little bit of problems in the past where people couldn't pronounce our last name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the last name I got when I got married. And then we had to wait like a month for to get it set in stone, like with the social security card and all that, because of the fact that we lived in South Lake Tahoe and it's such a small place that they had to have the people come to them. Um, anyway, so that's why I spell it. It's not because I think anybody's dumb or anything. 3, 4, 5. I'm just worried that somebody would think that that's the reason why I'm spelling it. And um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And I'm just worried. I'm trying to be sensitive to certain things. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. If you're watching me on Twitch right now, um, okay, nobody is, but I can have subscribers, I have sub points, and people can gift memberships for other people, and I can get money from Twitch Turbo. Anyway, it sounds really cool. Um, so I'm probably going to be mentioning that a few more times before it just becomes a, well, no, I might be mentioning that more times than that. But like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still have to go upstairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to finish this off stream and we can there we go. Maybe we can record something later because although I've this is the story that I wanted to audio so badly because I knew it was going to be a crowd pleaser. It's one of my favorites. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 5. I think it's going to be a crowd pleaser, and it's one of my favorites, which probably is going to make people think that I like that kind of stuff, but I just like it. Whoa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, my battery's dying. Yay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only yay because then that will help me get off the Xbox. Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I started to say this is one of the scenes in the first few chapters of the book is that Hayden is having a meeting, so he can tell the boys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can remind the boys what he said on ship about no pirates dating his daughters. Well, Sean's sitting there. He's acting like it's not bugging him at all. But it is. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I need to fix that. Okay. Anyway, so he's acting like it's not bugging him at all, but it is bugging him. But when the voice says no pirates dating his daughters, it literally goes into like demon mode. He's like growling it. He wasn't even talking. It was the the narrator voice that said it. And, it's like growling like a demon. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't want it that way, but I got used to it, so we're gonna have to work on some of these houses and yeah. Anyway, so like I said, I've got to go upstairs and stuff. So I will see you in the next stream or video. Hold on, I gotta put my chair down first. My footrest. Okay. Now I will see you in the next stream or video.